Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. I just played Anthem over the weekend with the open demo. This is a game that is coming out from EA Bioware. It is going to be out this month towards the end of February. So I played enough of the demo to come away with some thoughts on this upcoming game. So first off, I have high expectations for a game that is put out by Bioware because I'm a huge fan of the developer. I've been that way since Knights of the Republic. Then it came out with Mass Effect, one of my favorite sci-fi games of all time. Then we also have Dragon Age, which is a phenomenal fantasy game. So they have a very, very good track record, and I expect a lot from this game. So that being said, this game itself is a brand new IP for Bioware. The first new IP they've had in several years, and it all has to do with this planet. You take place as one of the last humans, I'm pretty sure, on this planet, and you get around with these mechs called javelins. So it's very similar to kind of like an Iron Man-esque experience where you're flying around this very beautiful environment and you're killing enemies, you're getting loot, and you're leveling up your character. And it's a shared world shooter, so you do have lots of multiplayer components with your squad and different javelins you can play as. So I just want to break down the things I liked first about my experience with the open demo for Anthem. First off, the graphics are incredible. The world is just so vibrant, and it's got this great kind of mystical, almost like Jurassic Park meets Lost or something like that, because there's just like this huge landscape. And what I like is the freedom of flight. They can go all up and all the way down to the ground. And the flight, at first, I played on PC, by the way, did take a little getting used to with the keyboard and mouse. I had to go into the settings and dial down the flight sensitivity, and just the overall transition from hovering to going to the ground to jumping up and flying, that sense of speed is great. The combat, which is what you're going to be doing most in this game, is shooting things, and that feels excellent. There's different kind of enemy types, which really provided tons of different variety and different tactics for taking them out. So each one of the javelins that I've played, there was a total of 4. I played the Ranger, the Colossus, and I played the Interceptor. They all felt very unique, very different from one another. They all have their own different types of weapons, and one of them is a melee, one of them is more of like a tank, as well as the Ranger is more of a balanced type of javelin. I did think, and mind you, that this is a demo, this is a pre-release build of the game, so everything in the game might not be incredibly balanced. I felt the Colossus was a little bit underpowered for a tank, but that can be remedied in the final release of the game, because mind you, this demo was supposedly a 6-week-old build compared to what they have currently with the launch build of the game. From the aesthetic point of view, they have great customization system. You can go into your specific javelin, really get into some nitty-gritty details about the texture, some vinyl decals you can put on the javelin to really make yourself stand out. Talking about the activities in the demo, they did offer a type of free play where you can just soar for your heart's desire. You can go and get some loot from finding loot crates, or you could go and tackle some world quests. They also had missions that would further the story. By the way, they dropped you in at level 10, so they dropped you right in, get a good vertical slice of what the game is all about. But they also had these things called strongholds, which are, if you play Destiny, your strikes or your regular just dungeons, right? So they had a 4-person group, and by the end of this thing, it was very hard, by the way. I did have it set at normal difficulty, but it did have lots of difficulty as far as wiping a lot. But by the time we got to the end, there was this boss fight. I thought it was super cool, very unique. He was this insect that was, you know, kind of jumping around, and as a person that can fly, you're hovering, you're flying all around trying to take this thing out. I thought that was awesome. That being said, there were quite a bit of negatives I had with playing the demo of Anthem. First off, I was not a fan of the wonky menu system, so I had trouble trying to figure out how to select the javelin I wanted to play as. Certain commands weren't going through all the way. Mind you, this is an earlier build of the game, but I thought they could have cleaned things up a bit. When you do get loot, they kind of spread it all around in the system when you complete the different mission, and they don't like put stacks, so you're getting lots of duplicates all over the place. It's just very messy to me. I did not like the way the inventory system is handled in this game whatsoever. So if you get an item, first off, it doesn't tell you what the item is when you're in the real world just fighting. You actually have to wait until you're done the activity for you to actually figure out what it is, so you can't even access your inventory while you're actually playing, which means you can't actually switch out items on the fly, which when you're playing a game like this, it's kind of, I would think, a better idea to allow you to access that equipment so you can change your strategies on the fly, right? Also, I know that this is a Bioware game, and story is a big thing with Bioware games. It's what sets them apart from lots of other developers out there. And there seems like there's like a segregation between the multiplayer aspect of this game and the story aspect of this game. So when you're doing your story missions, you go into a first-person perspective in this hub world called Fort Tarsus. So when you're doing this, it essentially takes you out of the experience from playing with your friends, because only you are in that world. Your friends have no say in the conversation or anything, and I have a huge problem with that, because Bioware put out this awesome game that I still play today called Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they had an excellent system for conversations that allowed multiple people to have a say in what they wanted to say in a dialogue option. So really, I don't know why they couldn't have just adopted that system that I thought worked really well. Going into more of the combat stuff, I thought that dying was a problem as far as you having no chance to do anything when you were down. You were just staying there. There was no way to respawn. Once your whole team died, you had to do the whole thing over again. I feel like at least give you a chance to move around would have been a better idea, or at least have a timer to where you die and then you can kind of respawn again. That to me just wasn't that all helpful at all. So I played on the PC, and I had a serious problem with the communication between party members. Now, there is no communication between party members, especially coming from the PC version of the game. Not having a text option to just simply type in a window to say, hey, you know, go over here or do this, is a big problem. There was no voice chat that I could think of. So a multiplayer game should always have some kind of system like that built in. The party system also just didn't have any good UI. Like, I didn't know who was in my group at the time. It just seemed very weird, very strange for a game that they're really pushing for cohesion, to not have the tools I need to be effective in a team, for sure. I thought that this system of the game between the different modes was just not good. There was not a lot of fluidity. So if I wanted to do another activity, I would completely have to back out, go through a loading screen. By the way, there's lots of loading screens to get into another game. Mind you, I was playing at one point, and my friend wanted to jump in and play in the version that I was playing, in the game I was playing in free play mode. He couldn't figure it out. There's literally no way you can just, like, you know, drop in and play with your friends, which is a big problem, again, for a multiplayer game that's priding itself on having this cohesion with your party. So that to me was a big problem, and it's just not really open world. When you go into free play, you're only with like 3 other people that they randomly pair you up with in that party, which is just not good in my eyes. I think it would be nice to have more of an organic feel, where you're going around and you're seeing other players pop up, you know, on their own, not just jumping into your squad. It makes the game feel a lot smaller, to be honest with you. And I think this game has a lot of potential because the environments are so large that I think they could have supported more than 4 people in an area. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're holding back because, again, this is just a demo. And that's the last point I want to drive home, is that this is a demo. I don't know why Bioware thought of naming this a demo, because a demo to me says that the game is finished. This is just a part of the game they took out and put out there to the public to say, hey, try us and play the game when it comes out if you like it. And I thought it should have been called a beta, because there were lots of glitches that I encountered, and it just seems like, to be honest, they might have rushed this game out a little bit too soon. I think maybe if they held back until, let's say, the fall of 2019, it might be a lot better, a lot more polished, because right now, yeah, the combat is great, but it's a lot of this UI stuff, a lot of this stuff that's, you know, hidden behind loading screens, and everything just doesn't feel like it's all there together. So, I mean, coming down to my decision, I'm unfortunately going to say that I'm not going to buy this game at launch. I might wait like a couple months to see if they turn this thing around, because right now, it's just, I have a lot of problems with the multiplayer aspect of how they're doing that kind of content. So I don't want to speak for you guys, but just make a wise decision on if you want to play this game, because for me, I'm a little bit underwhelmed, a little bit disappointed, because I love my Bioware games. To be honest, I love Bioware. It's been one of my favorite developers of all time, and it just pains me to say that this is the first game I think that I'm not going to buy on day one. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of problems that I had with the multiplayer functionality, and when they're pushing this as a multiplayer game, it's something that I think they should have nailed down. And there are two big games in competition against us. We have the Division 2 coming out in March, and we already have Destiny 2, which has been freaking phenomenal, to be honest with you. That game's come a long way and has had lots of improvements. So that is going to do it for my thoughts on Anthem. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this game. Did you play the demo? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I have plenty of other content that revolves around video games, as well as I have a huge interest in Star Wars. So if you like any of that, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.